All right, I want to start by giving all glory, honor, and praise to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rekah, Quadash, the honor to the elders and the apostles and teachers and wise men of great millstone, that honor this truth from through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua. Salutation to the elect out there. All right, I want to do a quick lesson, but I'm going to start right here before I start the video, before I play the video, Salakia. I want to start right here in Obadiah 1. I'm going to start at verse 1. The heading says, right here, the heading says, Edom will be humbled. And Edom, when it says Edom, it's talking about the so-called Edomites, the descendant of Esau. Because Esau, which is Edom, which the word Edom goes back to red. So these red people, these so-called white people, which are really red because you can see their blood through their skin. So they're the red people, the Edomites. All right. Obadiah 1, let's start at verse 1. It says, the vision of Obadiah, thus said the Lord power concerning Edom, you Edomites. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Who is that ambassador? The so-called, not the so-called, but the prophets. The prophets, that's that ambassador that is sent among the heathen. It says, arise, let us arise up against her in battle. You see? All right. It says, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. You see, Esau is the smallest nation among the heathen nations. They're the smallest, and they're the ones that are greatly despised. You see? All right. It says, verse 3, it says, the pride of thy heart hath deceived thee, because these Edomites are very prideful. It says, thou that dwellest in the cleft of the rocks, whose habitations is high. That's why in today's time you see skyscrapers, you see, because in the times of old, Esau, they dwelt in high places, in the caves of the clefts of the rock. And in caves, it says, that said in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And that's how these Edomites think. They think that they can't be touched. You see, they're a very prideful people. And they think because of their technology and their weaponry and them having the blessing of the sword, you see, they think that no one can bring them down. Verse 4, it says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, you see, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, you see. So the Lord is going to bring these Edomites down, you see. All right, let's give you an example of how prideful they are. It says, who shall bring me down to the ground? Let's give you an example of how prideful these Edomites are. It says, Trump announces new missile shield for America. It says the Golden Dome. Let's watch this video, then I'll get another scripture. I'm not going to play all of it. It's 21 minutes long, but I'm going to play some of it. Here we go. Let's play the video. Announcement when it comes to the Golden Dome, and perhaps as well when it comes to Afghanistan. Let's listen in. Good line. I also want to recognize Senators Dan Sullivan, Kevin Cramer, and Jim Banks, fantastic senators, great talents, great political talents, and people that love our country. In the campaign, I promised the American people that I would build a cutting-edge missile defense shield to protect our homeland from the threat of foreign missile attack. And that's what we're doing. Today, I'm pleased to announce that we have officially selected an architecture for this state-of-the-art system that will deploy next-generation technologies across the land, sea, and space, including space-based sensors and interceptors. And Canada has called us, and they want to be a part of it. So we'll be talking to them. They want to have protection also. So as usual, we help Canada do the best we can. This design for the Golden Dome will integrate with our existing defense capabilities. It should be fully operational before the end of my term. So we'll have it done in about 3 years. Once fully constructed, the Golden Dome will be capable of intercepting missiles even if they are launched from other sides of the world and even if they are launched from space. And we will have the best system ever built. As you know, we helped Israel with theirs, and
was very successful, and now we have technology that's even far advanced from that, but including hypersonic missiles, ballistic missiles, and advanced cruise missiles. All of them will be knocked out of the air. We will truly be completing the job that President Reagan started 40 years ago, forever ending the missile threat to the American homeland, and the success rate is very close to 100%, which is incredible when you think of it. You're shooting bullets out of the air.
You see how prideful these Edomites are? That's how they think. Who can bring me down to the ground, you see? But the pride of thy heart has deceived thee, you Edomites. Lakia. Let's get another scripture, then I'll let the video play out. All right, this is Malachi 1. Let's start at verse. Let's see. Let's start at verse 4. Let's get to the point. It says, whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, because back then they were at a low estate, you see. But the Lord, raised them up to show his power. And he's going to show his power even more when he judged these Edomites and destroy their kingdom. All right, it says, but we will return and build the desolate places. You see, they're building now, and they've been building for years. Skyscrapers, different, different territories. They've been expanding their territories, across the world. You see, across the earth. What does Job 9:24 says? It says the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. You see, the Lord gave the earth into their hands for a time. It says, thus saith the Lord of hosts. It says, they shall build. You see, they're building now. It says, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people whom the Lord have indignation forever. You see, so the Lord has indignation against these people. You see, the Lord is going to allow them to build, things like their missile defense system, but he's going to eventually bring them down. You see, the Lord is going to show his power. Esau is going to reach the height of his power, and the Lord is going to knock him down. All right, let's let this video play out.
I'm also pleased to report that the one big beautiful bill will include $25 billion for the Golden Dome to help construction get underway. That's the initial sort of a down deposit. And we have probably, you're talking about, General, we're talking about $175 billion total cost of this when it's completed. This afternoon, I'm also announcing that I will appoint, very importantly, General
Talaki, stupid ad.
Your air conditioning system looks like you've been...
Dumb ad. Talaki.
To lead the ambitious new effort as the direct reporting program manager for the Golden Dome. Very talented man, and I'm very honored to have been the one that helped to have really created Space Force. Space Force has turned out to be a tremendous success. We were third in space, and now we're number one in space by a lot.
You heard him? You see? Prideful. These Edomites are prideful. You see? They're set, you see? The Space Force. And that's another thing that they've created. A Space Force. Which goes back to what? Back in, right here. In Obadiah 1:4, it says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars. That's that Space Force that they've created, you see?
Not even close. And Mike is a force, Space Force. This turned out to be a tremendous success. We were third in space, and now we're number one in space by a lot. It's not even close. And Mike is a 4-star Space Force general, the recipient of the Defense Distinguished Service Medal, one of the most respected people in the world having to do with defense. We have offense and we have defense. I'll bet he's good at offense too. And he has an unmatched background in missile warning technology and defense procurement. General Goodline also knows that we need to move fast. No one is more qualified for his job, and everybody, this was a universal acceptance of General Goodline. Everybody that knows him and knows everybody else, they said there's only one man for the job, so I have a feeling we have the right guy. But now I'd like to invite Secretary Hegseth and the General to please say a few words and describe the system a little bit. And we appreciate you being here. The press has really been very fair over the last period of a couple of months. I don't know what happened to you. It was so much more exciting the other way, but you've been very, very fair. We have very high poll numbers, the highest we've ever had, and I think we're doing a great job. We had a tremendous trip to the Middle East, as you know. It was a really amazing trip, and now I came home, and this is the one I was really looking forward to this day, because this is very important for the success and even survival of our country. It's a pretty evil world out there, so this is something that goes a long way toward the survival of this great country. And as I said, we'll be discussing Canada. They want to hook in and they want to see if they can be a part of it. That sort of makes sense. I guess that's what I was talking about from day one. You know, it just automatically makes sense, and it won't be very difficult to do, but they'll pay their fair share. Thank you very much, everybody. And Pete, go ahead.
Well, Mr. President, add this to the long and growing list of promises made and promises kept. Ultimately, this right here, the Golden Dome for America, is game changer. It's a generational investment in the security of America and Americans. Mr. President, you said we're going to secure our southern border and get 100% operational control after the previous administration allowed an invasion of people into our country. President Reagan 40 years ago cast the vision for it. The technology wasn't there. Now it is, and you're following through to say we will protect the homeland from cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, hypersonic missiles, drones, whether they're conventional or nuclear. It's not lost on me, sir, also that you had the vision to start the Space Force, and here we are, when others said we didn't need it, here we are in the Oval Office with one of the leaders of the Space Force in General Goodline, leading the charge on putting in place a game-changing Golden Dome for America. So, sir, it's an honor to be a part of this bold initiative. We're going to get to work on it. We have been since you signed that executive order on January 27th. We've been fast forward on this. We're here on this day, and this is just one stop in delivering this defense of the homeland, which is something you've charged us with doing, and we'll keep going until it is complete, sir.
Thank you, Pete. Pete's done a great job, by the way. Thank you very much. General, please.
Mr. President, today is a great day for the nation as we double down on protection of the homeland. As you're aware, our adversaries have become very capable and very intent on holding the homeland at risk. While we have been focused on keeping the peace overseas, our adversaries have been quickly modernizing their nuclear forces, building out ballistic missiles capable of hosting multiple warheads, building out hypersonic missiles capable of attacking the United States within an hour and traveling at 6,000 miles an hour, building cruise missiles that can navigate around our radar and our defense.
And that goes into what? You see, the Lord is beginning to gather the nations, for World War III. You see, these other nations, especially Russia and China or North Korea. Yeah, in China, they're gonna, like the scriptures say, they're gonna hate the whore and make her desolate and naked and eat her flesh. You see, the Lord is gathering these nations and assembling these kingdoms for World War III, the final war. You see, one of the major prophecies that's going to come to pass, and that Golden Dome is not going to help them much.
Defenses and building submarines that can sneak up on our shores, and worse yet, building space weapons. It is time that we change that equation and start doubling down on the protection of the homeland. Golden Dome is a bold and aggressive approach to hurry up and protect the homeland from our adversaries. We owe it to our children and our children's children to protect them and afford them a quality of life that we have all grown up enjoying. Golden Dome will afford that. I greatly appreciate your trust in me and your nomination in me and your trust in the team to deliver this. It is a great day for America.
And also, very importantly, we're the only ones that have this. We call it super technology. Nobody else has it. And nobody else has really near what we have. So this is a very exciting project. This is something that will, the general said close to 100% protection. So that's something we need. I think it's a very, and everything's going to be made in the USA, by the way, very importantly. So it's something that I've been looking forward to for a long time. And I just noticed you too, Jim, you're standing there, and behind you is a very important document, Declaration of Independence. And that was in the vault for many decades right under this area. They have vaults with pictures on top. You have Abraham Lincoln. You see that was the original Abraham Lincoln, the original Washington. And does everybody know who the middle was? General Grant. And so it's very exciting. You look over here, and above Ronald Reagan, you have Thomas Jefferson. It's Monroe from the Monroe document. And you know who that is, right? Andrew Jackson. So we have a lot of very exciting pictures, and on the other side, likewise, some great presidents and great people. And many of these pictures people were asking about, and many of them, almost all of them, were in the vaults or nearby, but generally in the vaults downstairs, where we have some great. So it's very exciting, and the place has become a little different than you first saw it, Jim. Right?
All right, I'm not going to play the entire video, but the point has been made. These Edomites, they're going to continue to build, but eventually the Lord is going to bring them down, you see. So I'm going to end the lesson here. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Shalom.